And we're live. Welcome to the Drink and Click show. My name is Juan Gonzalez. I'm the founder of Drink and Click, and this is episode 13 of the Drink and Click show. I'm joined by the co-host, Lotus Carroll.
Hello.
Say hi, Lotus. And we have a wonderful guest and awesome panelist. Our guest is Athena Carey. Say hi, Athena.
Hello.
And Athena is a landscape and travel photographer, and she's going to be showing us a bunch of her projects that she's working on and some of the pictures she's been working. Just the process. Lotus, would you want to introduce the panelists?
I would love to. I'm going to start with Andrea Naylor.
Hi.
Hello. Tell us
Hi.
who you are, where you live, and where you can be found on the web.
My name is Andrea Naylor. I go by Dre Naylor most often. I can be found on Facebook, on Google+, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Tumblr, pretty much everywhere. I do mainly events, but I also enjoy a lot of portraiture, and I like to dabble in landscape, nothing like a theme.
Little dabble's good. And you're a Drink and Click chapter leader.
I am in Palm Springs, California. Yeah.
Yay.
We're also going at the beginning of the year. We're a resort town, like very touristy, and so there's a lot of in and out traffic, so it's hard to keep a full group together here.
Yeah. Well, you guys are doing well so far.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, we've got Cameron Siguenza.
Hello, everyone. I'm in Santa Cruz, California. I do landscape, surf, and some lifestyle stuff. I'm getting into a lot more of that these days. And you can find me on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and my own site, CameronSiguenza.com. Thanks.
And you are coming to us from the International Space Station tonight, right?
International Airstream.
Yes.
I lost audio for a minute there, so I was talking blindly. But anyways, hopefully that all came out.
Yes, it was wonderful. Thank you for being on the show tonight, Cameron. Up next, we've got Mark Esguerra.
Hi, everybody. I have a mustache, and I'm proud of it. You can find me browsing through local porn sites. I don't know if that's something I should have said out loud, but that's what I do. And you can find me on Google, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. My site is The Marquee World. I do mostly landscape photography. Some architecture here or there. I don't claim to be an architecture type of photographer, but I pretty much shoot what I like.
And did you wash your face tonight?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit.
I'm so proud of you. You told me you were thinking about doing it for the show.
Yeah. I washed like three-quarters of my face today.
So are you planning to go for the thick mustache or just the twirly one, or?
You know, I tried the twirly one once in my life, and it wasn't so successful, so I trimmed it back down.
Nice.
Well, thanks for being on the show tonight, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. All right.
And now we are talking to Athena. Athena, tell us. Yes, we are talking to. And I don't know. I don't think a lot of people know the relation between Lotus and Athena. You want to explain what's going on over there?
Well, I've known her since she was born.
Oh my goodness, that's a long, long, long time.
Even longer since I was born. Yes, we're sisters. She's my little sister.
She's a little baby.
Mm-hmm.
So do you get to babysit Lotus anytime?
Did I?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I was trusted occasionally to
Really?
babysit her. That's
Was she a pain? Was she a pain?
Never.
Never.
That baby.
So Athena, you started photography how long ago? Well, when was the whole thing? When did you get the itch for grabbing a camera and going outside and just doing what you do?
When so we have a Swiss mom, And one summer when I was 9, it was the first time my parents sent me to our godparents in Switzerland by myself. And my mom gave me her camera. So for that whole summer, it was my camera, and I was in Switzerland, which is gorgeous. And my godparents are pretty active, so they took me out to a lot of places, and that was really the beginning.
Do you happen to remember what kind of camera it was?
It was one of those little Kodak square ones that has the flash cube that goes on top and it turns,
Yeah.
and each time you use it, it blows.
I love that sound.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the flash. That's the Kodak flash sound.
Yeah. I wish I still had the camera, actually. That would be very cool.
So, and you are actually based. You live in Switzerland?
No, you're a little bit behind.
Okay, so you moved to Africa. I was just trying to.
Yeah. So
I was trying to get the whole connection of the whole move.
presently living in South Africa. I've been there for about a year now.
Cool.
What part?
Sorry?
What part of Africa are you, or South Africa?
Well, South Africa is a country, and I live in Johannesburg, which is not terribly photographic. So for me to do photography there, it involves either going to like a wildlife park or preferably the coast.
I asked because I had a friend who she is from Durban, South Africa, and so I was like, I've seen a lot of photos that she's taken and stuff, and the different wild animals. I can't even imagine how fun it would be for a professional photographer to be in that area. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's very diverse. South Africa is an enormous country, and so you can be in even just a slightly different region, and it's entirely different what you have the opportunity to photograph.
Yeah, that's one of the places I wanted to go visit. I haven't visited down there, so I need to get a flight and go visit you over there. Maybe Lotus.
Only 20 hours.
Say that again?
Have you been to
It's
the
only 20 hours.
Say that again, Athena?
Oh, I was saying the flight. It's only 20 hours.
It's long.
So-
Have you been, Juan?
No, I never been. Mine is Europe, South America, and Asia, and that's pretty much what I've done. So I need to expand my places that I visit. So
Antarctica as well, I guess.
Oh, and yeah, that'll be awesome. I think it will be on South America. I still want to go to Peru, and I want to go to Argentina and make the jump if I can to Antarctica and just see what I can photograph down there. But my next plan is Seattle and Vancouver, so we'll see how that goes. So, Athena, when you started doing your landscape and travel photography, how long was that? Because I know you started doing it when your mom gave you the camera and you went to Switzerland, but once you went to start something with digital, and then you started to get more into photography, and then your landscape and travel, how long was that ago, and what camera you started using, and why do you get, most of your pictures are black and white, why do you make the whole black and white?
So
That's only like 15 questions.
I know, right? Stop talking. Originally, as an adult, I was a portrait photographer, and my specialty then was children, maternity, and sometimes family, although I don't really enjoy that. And my specialty even then was black and white photography. I think it's just something that I have a strong affection for. I enjoy taking that one step outside of reality, because as soon as you take color away, everything else becomes so much more pronounced. And so I was already a black and white photographer before I stepped into landscape photography. I've had a very special life where I've been able to live all around the world, and I felt like I was never quite doing the places I live justice with the landscape photos that I took away. Just always felt like I wasn't there with it. And so when I moved to Switzerland in 2009, I took a year off. So every time you move, particularly as a portrait photographer, you have to start from scratch. You've given up your client base, you've given up all your referrals, you've given up your reputation, and you start over in a new place. And so instead of starting over, I took a year off and decided I was in a gorgeous place. I had so many opportunities to take landscape photos, and it was going to be my 1 year, and it was going to make or break. Either I was just going to give up and I was going to be landscape snapshot lady, or I was going to really do landscape photography. And at the end of the year, I didn't want to go back to portraits. So I didn't.
So
Those questions?
yeah, I think it's a pretty good. So when did you started with the? What was your first place you started doing landscape, and then you say, "This is it. I'm gonna stick with it."
So originally, like I said, I've lived in a lot of places in the world, and I had this idea that to do landscape photography meant to go to all the famous places that everybody else takes the pictures of and take those same pictures, and it just didn't make me happy. In Switzerland, I took a different approach. I lived in Geneva. It's an amazing, famous place. But rather than like going down to the Jet d'eau, which is the famous fountain in the city, I just went to a random part of the lake. Basically, over and over, I was taking pictures of things that other people weren't taking pictures of. And as a result, psychologically, I was freed from the impact that had been made upon me from seeing other people's photos, which left me creatively able to do whatever I wanted to. And that was really the ticket for me. So for me, I mean, I do still go to well-known places, but I'm just as maybe slightly happier to go to places that are beautiful, but maybe not very many people know about.
It's just the whole thing. Show me something different. Show me a different point of view, and you capture something that nobody else had captured of that city.
Yeah, it's a freedom. It's really a creative freedom to just do whatever you want to do.
I think it happens the same a lot here in Austin, Texas. There's so many photographers here, and we all photograph a lot of the same things. But once you show a picture that you haven't seen it from this building, or you picked it at a different hour, or you've done something different with it, it's just everybody gets attached to that image because it's something different. So it's very nice to just try something different.
Yeah, feels good.
So what projects are you working on now? Are you
Right now, I've got a lot of stuff going on in Ireland, which makes me very happy because I'm hugely in love with Ireland. In September the 27th, we're doing John Dunn and Andy Vitter invited. It's free. It's those 2 days. This year, it's just a county in northwestern Ireland. Some of the photos that I've given you to show, they're from Ireland, so they're appropriate to this part. So last year we did Dorset.
You want to go ahead and screen share those, Juan?
Last year we did it in Dorset, which is the southern coast of England. We had
you want to? Sorry, you want to go with the pictures first, Lotus?
Well, she was saying that some of the images that she put in the album to share are appropriate for what she's discussing right now.
Okay, let me do that.
Yeah, I loaded you up with Ireland photos.
Yes. There you go. You see them?
Yeah. So that's Northern Ireland specifically, which won't be on this tour, but leads me into talking about another project I have with John Dunn, which is to put together a cultural and photographic tour of Northern Ireland. It's in progress. I don't have a lot to share from it right now, other than that the locations are breathtaking. This is a location from the photo walk. We'll be going there in September to that shipwreck. It looks very, very different. They've had some great big storms which have taken parts of the boat further apart.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah, so you're taking this picture with, of course, with a neutral density filter?
Absolutely, with several stops. It's in a bay. It's actually a pretty small boat. You can walk out to it. You can climb up on it. So you have to be quite sensitive to the time that you get there, because if you come at low tide, it's not really even sitting in water.
Wow. And it's showing the details on the picture is showing that you took it at 12:58 p.m.
Yeah, you can never really trust the time on my camera because I'm not clever enough to change it every time I move out of one time zone to the other. Yeah.
So,
Sometimes the
but
dates are even very wrong.
yeah, but you were taking it during the day, of course.
Yeah, I actually got there at a bad time tidally and had to wait and wait and wait.
Nice. How about this one?
Yeah, this one is also in Ireland. It's in the southern part in County Kerry. And it's just this fabulous sort of jetty thing that sits in the water. It's also a tidal area, so if you come at a different time, it's not out in the water. You can walk out to it without getting your feet wet, but you get there at the right time.
Nice.
So it goes to show.
And the
Hey,
tour.
Athena.
Yeah, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
At what point do you decide you're gonna smooth out the water, or is it just automatically you're just gonna do a long exposure and that's
No,
that?
so it's generally for me has to do with what my feeling is for a certain place, how long the exposure will be. It varies, and a lot of times I'll do more than one thing in one place, and I tend only to publish one of them then.
Just one out of a whole shoot?
A lot of times, yeah.
And that
Maybe,
is, yeah,
for example, in this one, if I had done a shorter exposure where there was more texture in the water, and then this level of smoothness, then I would definitely really only publish one of those. Whereas if I'd walked, way down to the left and shot the pier from the side, I could definitely publish that one as well because it would be so dramatically different. I do
and
have other shots from this location that just haven't gone out yet.
and when you're saying you're using several stops, are you talking about maybe 10 stops, or is it higher than 10 stops? Are you stacking filters, or?
I am very frequently stacking filters. It depends on the speed of what's moving, how much, and the ambient light.
Nice. I really like that. Oh, look at the other.
This
Yeah.
back is the same. It's the same boat from a different angle. Very different feeling. I had great, great clouds on that day. It's very fortunate.
There, it's almost like it's just like shining in
I
the
know.
background. Like here's the bow.
Exactly. Sometimes you get given a gift like that. You gotta
Yeah.
take it.
That is beautiful.
Yeah, serendipity is a pretty cool thing when it happens.
I know, it feels really good. This is the Dark Hedges. This is up in Northern Ireland. It's one of the locations that will be included on the tour, which is separate from the photo walk. So two different things, similar photos. There's a television show called The Game of Thrones. I don't watch it, but I think a lot of people do. And a lot of these locations in Northern Ireland happen to also be in that TV show. This is one of those.
Nice. That is beautiful.
So this is this is a lighthouse that we'll be shooting on the photo walk in September.
So you're talking about two separate things. You're talking about the photo walk and you're talking about the tour.
Right. So to differentiate them, the photo walk is free. It's 2 days in this September, September 27th and 28th. Separately from that, I'm also working to put together a tour that's in Northern Ireland, which is also the northern part of the island, but not Donegal, separate country. The tour will involve, it'll be much more in-depth, it'll be much more sort of service-orientated, it will have guides who talk about the history of the locations. The photo walk is much more casual. We organize the locations, we help people to, get themselves settled in and get to these places. But then it's really just free-for-all photography in those places. And then obviously eating and eating in pubs, and the whole Irish experience without it being a tour.
Cool.
I'm excited about the tour though because it takes sort of having a workshop, which so many people are doing, that one step further so that when you leave that country, you've actually experienced it. And I think it changes your photographs, whether or not you have an understanding of the place that you're standing in at the time that you're taking those pictures. It's very different.
I think it. I think it does. I think the whole thing of going somewhere and getting a more in-depth thing than just a photo walk will get you the whole feel of the country or the place you visit.
So if you imagine that you're standing in a ruin and you've just shown up there on your own and you take the picture, I mean, it's great, it's wonderful. There's no denying that Ireland is fabulous to photograph under any circumstances, really. But if you have a guide with you that's telling you the folklore or the history of that place,
Yep.
it's changing the way you feel about it at the time that you're making that photograph. And I feel very strongly that that's then reflected in the art that you create in that place.
And I think that's the way to go, because I actually was a tour guide in the Amazon in South America, and that's how I met my wife. She was a tourist, and I was her tour guide, and we started dating, and now I'm here. So, but my whole family is in South America, in Venezuela, and I'm once the things get better there, then I'm planning to do something like that, some photography tours down there to Angel Falls.
That'd be fabulous.
Yeah.
So then that next shot is also down in the Republic of Ireland. It's a different shipwreck, which may be included on the tour, not the photo walk. This is also from the tour. This is called Elephant Rock. It's interesting the level of famous that it is varies depending on who you speak to. It is apparently also, though, in an area that was included in Game of Thrones as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're stealing all my locations. So going back to that shipwreck that we saw in the beginning, this is the third of the series. So we were talking, Mark, about would I release this different photos from the same location. These three are together. Obviously, they're very different, the three of them.
Yeah.
They were, so those three photos were my IPA submission last year.
So, and I'm seeing.
What do you mean?
Oh,
Go
sorry.
ahead, yeah.
IPA is International Photography Awards. It was I entered it into travel and tourism, and it's a third place prize for me.
Nice. Very nice.
Elephant Rock again, but whoa!
It's color.
I know, right? So
What happened?
I know. Something for the last year that I've played with a little bit. Color makes me nervous, so it's a tentative thing for me. It also excites me, though, I guess, because it makes me nervous. So there will be some color.
So why does it make you nervous? Earlier you hit on the idea that you like removing the color because it allows you to really focus on what's there. It's almost like you've removed a distraction so that we can focus more on what's really in the image. And I loved hearing that that's a reasoning for you. But now you've also said color makes you nervous. So this is a little bit of something different. I'd like to hear.
This is the psychological side of it for me. Physically, I'm visually very, very sensitive. I'm sensitive to light to the point that sometimes it can hurt me. But I'm also sensitive to details in things to where I can be overwhelmed quite severely if there's too much going on around me, but also in images I don't like it, particularly in my own images. They're what I can control. And so by taking color out, I take a part of that away. And like I said, it takes a distraction away. So for me to play with color, I have to figure out how I can include it, but control it to the point that it doesn't hurt me on some level. Interestingly, when I post images in color, I feel like they're really vibrant because they include color at all. And like all the comments are, oh, I love your soft muted colors.
So how do you feel about HDR?
Yeah. It's good for some people.
You did experiment with it a little bit.
Yeah,
I remember seeing you
have
kind of playing with it at some point. Yeah.
I mean, you can't just shoot something down without trying.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
I'm a strong believer you have to experiment and just try different things and then see what you're in.
Okay. So another one in color. This is from a workshop I did last year with Rohan Riley in County Kerry, which is in the southern part of Ireland. Ireland is just loaded with things like this. I mean, they're really not terribly difficult to find. Just drive around and look out the window. And you can
That
still.
is, that is just amazing. They just make you
Amazing.
drop everything and just go.
Well, come on a tour.
Yeah, I have to convince the wife.
I can help you. Okay, so now we're going to leave Ireland and we've gone to the Western Cape. So we're down in South Africa now. And this is a different project that I'm working on with a videographer called Armand Dykes. He's in Holland. He's amazing on a slightly separate note. We're working on a project that involves sharing photography, sharing techniques, insights, along with sharing locations. And so through this project, we're going to be able to sort of virtually take people with me to South African locations to shoot with me, but be beside me and listen to me talk about the way I, choose a location, how I plan a photography trip, my filter considerations, things that you asked. They're all things that I'm speaking about in this project.
So tell me more, or tell us more about the gear. I know that you use Canon, and I saw you using a lot of the 24-105 f4 lens.
Oh, you've been looking at all my exit data.
Yes.
Perfect. People who are hugely interested in gear. I'm not one of those people. My interest in gear is to the extent that I can have what I need to make. 5 lens is a lens that I have from my studio photography days because it's a fabulous studio lens. It is also, for me, a great landscape lens. I just picked up also, though, a Sony A7R and an adapter to use those Canon lenses on it. Haven't yet had a chance to play with it really yet.
I know. I just heard wonderful things about that camera, and Colby actually published a review, an in-depth review of that camera today. So it was interesting to see what he had to say about it.
Yeah, it's exciting.
So you mentioned your project with Armand. What did you say his last name was?
Dykes.
Is that the video clip that we have to share?
Yes. So rather than me explain too much about that project, we've got a web. So this is another photo from that area of South Africa. This photo, just interestingly, I took from the balcony of my guest house.
Oh, nice.
In my pajamas.
I'm going to visit you.
Come along. So Armand and I have this project that you're going to see a video clip about, which will be virtually bringing people along. And then from there, we're actually also going to do a real life workshop where people can come with us to those locations.
So can you guys see the video screen right now?
Yeah, and make sure you get your sound set up before you start playing it so that we can hear it.
All right, so
let's have a look at this.
All right, let's have a look at it.
Beautiful.
That is beautiful.
I mean, it landscape around you.
Yeah, it's part of South Africa, really amazing stuff. So the website presently it's up. You can read a little bit about the project. You can look at that video with a better quality than what we're streaming.
Yeah.
I feel a little bit bad because it streams on air quite poorly. It's gorgeous.
It's a hangout.
Armand's videography skills are phenomenal. Every time he sends me like a sneak peek of a part that's been completed, I'm like, so pretty.
So it's africawithathena.com?
Right. africawithathena.com, and there's a part at the bottom where you can sign up to be notified when they start to be available.
So how long?
So that hasn't been announced yet.
This is it.
Okay.
We're announcing it
nice.
right now.
Nice. So this is going to be how long? How long do you have to commit to go to Africa and shoot with you?
I'm sorry, how long do I have to commit to what?
To go to Africa and shoot with you.
Oh, for the actual workshop part where you come with us, that'll probably be about a week.
Okay.
But at the moment, we're also talking about an add-on before and after, which will be optional parts with a different. Probably something you want to leave within your pocket. And the second part, haven't quite decided which other part to include. Possibly the garden route, because that's also a really stunning part of the country, and it means that I get to go do more recon.
And this is going to be like a full service. They go pick you up at the airport. We go the whole group, the whole tour.
Yeah. So Africa can be daunting for people.
Yes.
Really, people who haven't traveled across the world a lot, but honestly, anyone, because it's just dramatically different from what most of us have experienced. And so, yes, those things that you just mentioned, I think, are important.
That is just fantastic. So, are you partnering with the videographer, or are you doing this on your own, or?
No, this is with Armand, the same Armand that I just mentioned.
Yeah.
And potentially with a couple of other photographers, because a few things. I'm not a safari type photographer. Changing almost thing to do. You should be with somebody who it's their specialty, and in addition, partnering on a smaller extent with some local photographers, because just like what I said about Northern Ireland, I think feet on the ground, when you're with local people and they're talking to you about the place that's theirs, your experience is different. It's very important. But in addition to that, we're also going to tour some, vineyards and do some wine tasting. There's so much to be had in the area. Yeah, look.
You heard that, Lotus? Wine tasting.
Yeah, there's a lot on offer down there, really. Now, wine.
Awesome.
Is
Yeah. So if there's any companies listening right now and they want to send me and Lotus to Africa we'll be willing to go.
Accept sponsors for travel.
Look, Lotus is drinking wine right now, so let's make this happen.
So I have a question for you.
Yes?
Have you ever? You were saying that your colleague does amazing video work. Have you ever considered getting into video? I've been talking with some photographers, and they say that it's kind of the next step for some of them. And because you're in so many of these amazing, beautiful places, have you ever thought of adding motion to any of your work?
It's a really interesting question. So in the same way that I can be visually overloaded by colors and details, to some extent I feel very daunted by video. Yeah. But I'm also hugely intrigued by it. I do feel like it is the next level that you can open up to. And to the extent that I've considered taking a workshop with Armand, because he teaches video workshops. And obviously I think he's extremely good, or I wouldn't be working with him. So massive recommendation right there. Cool. What I've started doing, so this is sort of the segue, I guess, to considering doing real video, is I've been starting to do it with my phone. So when I'm doing these long exposures, I have a short attention span, so I'm kind of like, and I'm taking pictures with my phone.
Yeah.
And then recently I started doing panos with my phone, so I'm standing there doing this, and now I'm taking little short videos with my phone inside those little gaps of time where otherwise I would be checking Facebook.
How can you be checking Facebook when you have that beautiful thing in front of you?
I don't know.
Let him know.
I'm there for 2 hours. Come on.
Oh, yeah, that's
Right.
true.
Yeah, when you're taking 6, 10, 12-minute exposures over and over, you definitely
Yeah.
have some time to think about and do other things.
Yeah.
I have a question though. When you arrive at a new location with your camera, what do you do before you take a picture? Like, I always find it really overwhelming to go to a new location. Like traveling with a camera, I usually don't get a lot of shots because it's overwhelming at first until you learn the place, which is where your tour seems to make a lot of sense.
Exactly. So for me, feet on the ground, the first time in a location, it's usually a location that I've done research for. And it won't just be that somebody said it and I found it on the map and I went there. I'll have done a significant amount of research before I get there. And so I'll have some idea of what I think I'm going to find. Reality never is quite what you see on the map or other people's photographs. So typically when I hit the ground, I don't even take my camera out. I'll walk around for a while and breathe it. I'll breathe the place in and decide what it feels like to me. And from there, I'll figure out what is the predominant aspect that I want to accentuate. And I'll put myself in a position to do that. And then I'll start making exposure choices and filter choices. It's a good
Is there a
question.
story that comes to mind? Sorry.
Sorry,
Is
Mark.
there a story that comes to mind when you get to a location? Like this, earlier you mentioned that you take a shot depending on how it makes you feel. I'm wondering if like a story comes up to in your mind when you get to a location. Like, is it an immediate thing or?
Can be. It can be very immediate, particularly if the place just speaks to me loudly. Some places can speak loudly to me with particular weather circumstances. It makes things very different. As you know, you can show up at the same place on different days with different weather or in different seasons, and it's like an entirely different place. As for a story, I don't think so. I don't think with words very much. I'm an emotive visual person, and so most of what happens in my head has to be translated into words. I don't do words very well.
So if anybody wants to attempt to do something similar to your photography, what do they need?
Long exposure photography, you mean?
So they need a tripod. They need a wide lens, maybe 24, neutral density filters.
Wants to know. Oh, so starter kit. So starter kit for long exposure photography, I would say definitely a tripod. You can't do it without a tripod. You don't have to have a wide angle lens. I shoot at 24 a lot. I mean, I have a 24 millimeter lens that I use a lot. When I'm not using that 24 to 105, I have a tilt shift. I like 24. I'm happy with it. Beyond that, at least a 10-stop filter to start. And you can go from there. That's how I started. I started with the camera I have now, this 5D Mark III, that 24 to 105 lens, and a screw-on 10-stop German VW filter. That was my beginning. And a tripod.
Yeah, I got a 10-stop Forma High-Tech a neutral density filter, and I love that thing. And my tripod, I shoot with a three-legged thing, also an awesome tripod. So what would be the choice of filters and tripod brands that you shoot with? Well, what are you more comfortable with?
So what I shoot with right now is, I mean, I've gone through a progression of sort of the learning phase, and then the realizing what I want phase, and then justifying the cost of that phase, and then actually getting what I want. So presently I'm very, very happy with what I have. I've got a really right stuff tripod. I shoot with a combination of Lee and high-tech format filters. Lee don't do a 4 and a 5 stop, so I've got those in high-tech. ND grads and ND filters.
So when you were saying that you, sorry for interrupt. When you were saying that you're stacking the filters, you're putting a 10-stop neutral density filter in the front, and then you're doing gradual after that, or?
a lot of the times I would really rather get everything right standing there, as close to right as what I think is right, because my opinion is all I'm after. What's right for you in that same place might be different, but I'd rather do it there than come home and spend time in front of the computer screen doing it. So I am using ND grads to get that effect that I want. It's that few extra minutes that I don't have to sit in an office in front of a screen, because that's not really where I want to be.
Yep.
No, that's where I am right now.
Awesome.
What's in my office?
Oh yeah.
So you like
Awesome. So
I just have one question. I've always found that, like, when I'm teaching or training in my career, that I've learned a lot more than I think maybe the students do. They probably learn lots too. But with that said, what have you learned from doing your various workshops around the world, Athena?
In the around the world part, the advantage maybe I have coming in is that that's how I've lived my adult life. And so I've already been exposed to a lot of the differences that are involved with dealing with different people. So mostly what I find myself getting out of these workshops is just an enormous sense of gratification. I can't think of, outside of like having children, anything more gratifying than the classes that I teach locally, so near where I live, and the workshops that I do. And at the end of the day, to see people so happy with themselves, with what they're doing, with what they've learned to do in a short period of time, it makes me feel so, like, my heart is huge. It's hugely gratifying.
And your heart grew 3 times that day.
Yes.
That's cool.
That is cool. That was a great answer. Okay, we do have some questions from the viewers, so I'm going to pop over and grab some of those and go through them.
I can't really see those, so
I'm going to read them.
Okay.
So let's start with, have you thought of visiting Namibia's Skeleton Coast?
Okay, so in March of this year, I was in Namibia, and that little bit of my heart that was left that Ireland didn't have, Namibia got. So I am actually heartless at the moment because my heart belongs to Ireland and Namibia. I didn't get up north to the Skeleton Coast, even though I would really, really like to. It's going to need to be a separate trip. It needs a bit more planning because it's more remote, and some of the locations may need to be flown into. Who was that from?
That was from Hannah Strutt. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Next, are you still converting your images with Photoshop?
Absolutely.
What's your workflow like? Let's go ahead and add that in there with that question.
My workflow is Adobe Camera Raw to Photoshop. Kind of it.
Okay.
Very old school, but that's because I've been doing this for such a long time. I was doing black and white conversions before Nik software, when we had to do everything manually, and it was all in Photoshop. There was no Lightroom and all this other stuff. And I don't know, when you're comfortable with something works for you, there's not a lot of motivation for me to learn an entirely new way to do something that I'm happy with already.
So you have
I'm cheap. I didn't want to buy Lightroom for the longest time.
So you haven't. Oh, sorry. You haven't been tempted to jump into Silver FX Pro?
I love Silver Effects. Initially.
So, someone did ask, can you talk about your approach to black and white processing?
Yeah. So this is my current approach. When Silver Effects came out, I bought it separately from the entire package. It was a very long time ago. I bought it for portrait work, and it's an amazingly powerful package. All the stuff that we were all doing with massive long sets, we were writing actions to do them with. You can just click into Silver Effects and just move some sliders around. It's very powerful. It's probably more powerful than even those of us who use it regularly realize, because you do get sort of into these ruts of your own style. So you use this, and this, and that's just what you do. But there's so much that Silver Effects can do. It's a very mature and advanced system too.
It is. I like it. I use it.
Okay. And then Karen Nelson says that she doesn't have a question, but she just wanted to wave and say hi. So let's all wave to Karen Nelson.
Hey, Karen!
And then Gary Monroe Says, can Athena finish Lotus's sentences or vice versa? And how scary is that?
Do actually do that, but more scary than that is that we don't actually need to speak out loud.
Yeah. They're like little secret. They just look at each other and just laugh.
Okay. Well, that is our interview with Athena Carey.
Thank you, Athena. That's just fantastic, and I might just drop. I just might drop my trip to Seattle and Vancouver and just go to Africa.
Let's work on that sponsor, Ann.
Yeah.
Sponsors, come on, sponsors.
Okay, that was wonderful. We also have a wonderful panel of photographers here, and they have their own projects and things that they've been working on. So we wanted to give each one of them a little bit of time, about 5 minutes apiece, to show us a few images and talk about them or whatever they want to talk about. So does any of you particularly want to hop up and go first, or shall I call on you?
Uh-oh. Oh,
I can go first. I don't mind. Mine's going to be
Right.
short
Cameron
and sweet
Siguenza.
anyways.
Let's see what you
All
got.
right. All right, so let me screen share. And hopefully... So I live in Santa Cruz on the coastline, so I do mostly ocean photography for my landscape or surf stuff. Right now, this time of the year, there's mostly big fog banks, so I don't do a lot of landscape stuff. I do more event and people and just walking around town and that kind of thing. This is from a few months ago, back in the kind of the last stages of winter, just about 4 or 5 miles up from where I live. I do a fair amount of surf photography with a Surfline subscription. I get email alerts and can be notified when there's the right waves to the right spot, and then show up and take a few shots. Usually after work.
That's in your area. That's where in the area.
Yeah,
where
this
you live.
is about a mile from where I live. This is Steamer's Lane, which is a very famous surf spot. Lots of tourists are there watching, and you see these world-class surfers who live in the town doing their thing. And you can tell if someone's sponsored. They usually have a colored wetsuit, and the people with the black wetsuits are not sponsored. That's what I.
Cameron, can you go back to the picture you had before?
Oh sure. Sorry.
Oh man.
Audio is doing that weird voice modulating thing again.
Oh no, it might be the bandwidth too. Let me just hope it works out for the last 2 or 3 minutes here. Yeah, this is a place called Sharkfin Beach or Sharkfin Cove, and this is like a shark fin shape, and it's quite a nice spot to check out and be. You can either be above or walk down this really steep hike that takes like 3 minutes of scrambling to get to the bottom, and it's a good 10-minute walk back up.
That is just beautiful. It's just like an amazing spot. And then you say your home is actually a stream, a little
an airstream. Yeah, an airstream trailer. Yeah, and when I travel, it's nice to just have your home with you, and not having to pack a suitcase and that kind of thing. And it's also you can't buy a lot of frivolous things because there's no room for them. So it really just focuses on the essentials of life for me at this time.
Have you ever got Michael Bonacore to visit your Airstream?
No, very few people have taken the time to visit, I'll say pointedly.
I was starting to say, I would love to visit.
And I'd like to,
yeah, it's great, but I dream one day of... Go ahead, sorry?
I would like to also visit this place and order the clouds with the keyhole that matches the shark fin.
Yeah, you just need to come between November and the end of February, and the weather's fantastic and for landscapes. So maybe even October. Anyways, this is from a couple of months ago when there was dense fog, and I immediately thought of this area, this outcropping that goes, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of feet out in the ocean. You can see kind of the tail end of this island out there that almost looks like it once was linked to it. Out there is a bunch of elephant seals that are very vicious, and they used to actually have a small building there, and anyways, where scientific researchers would be, but the elephant seals actually chased them out. They had to leave very suddenly a few years back. I would have loved to have seen that, maybe from a helicopter. This is from about a month and a half ago. Just doing a a self-portrait with a Wi-Fi remote app for my old Canon system. I just recently switched to a Fuji X-T1 and sold all my Canon gear, so kind of changing it up a bit right now, and I'm keenly interested in Sony as well for full frame. Anyways,
I've been actually thinking about doing the same thing, dropping all my Nikon gear and going to Fuji.
yeah, my f-stop bag can actually fit water and food now instead of just big Canon lenses, so it's quite a nice change. And finally, I've been doing a lot more lifestyle and people stuff, and I took a friend and her kid up the coast recently and did kind of a landscapey feel of him crawling. Now he's walking like crazy, so I'll have to do a walking shot at some point. He's kind of
Awesome.
He's got a good cheeks on him. Anyways, that's it from me.
Awesome shots. Thank you so much.
Nice to see what you got going on. I particularly like the self-portrait, not because it's a self-portrait really, but it's really beautiful. I like the lines. It has a good look.
Thank you. Yeah, kind of the clouds were all like that. This was just a few millisecond shot. It wasn't a long exposure or anything, and the clouds are just kind of crazy like that. So it kind of worked with the lines of the fence and the shadow and the fence line and all that good stuff. The only thing I should say is I am working on a. I've been invited to Japan next spring to do a gallery exhibition, and so I have to. Makes me kind of nervous because now I have to shoot. I have to prepare for it. So it'll be a busy winter.
What month exactly?
Good job.
Pardon me?
Do you know which month exactly, Cameron?
Maybe March, late March.
Hey, Cameron.
You gonna be there, Mark?
There's a Drink and Click chapter there.
Yeah, I should check them out for sure.
Oh, and, yeah, they party hard.
Yeah, they're all awesome.
It's probably about 12 years ago that I did some work in Japan for an old software company I had, and you'd work till 8 or 9 o'clock wearing like a 3-piece suit in this giant, mega-enormous building, and then you'd go out drinking till 2 a.m. I could barely keep up. I did very poorly in the after-hours segment. I mean, as a Canadian, it was tough. They're really serious at night.
I experienced the Korean business life and the and the Japanese Tokyo with the Drink and Click chapter there.
Yeah, and that's soju in Korean. That's quite the drink.
The soju and the sake in Japan is just kicking your butt.
All right, Cameron. Stop. It's great to see your work. Congratulations. Yeah. All right, who's next?
I guess I'll go.
All right, let's see.
Let me close out all my phone tabs before I try to share something here. And, I think this.
Unless that's what you've been shooting, and then please feel free to screen share that.
That's for my own private collection. You guys see that?
Yeah.
This is actually with the Sony A7R. You guys were discussing it earlier.
Mark,
I've been using it for. What's that?
What are you using to trigger it?
For this one, I have a Sony wired remote.
Okay.
Which I don't think is the greatest idea because it leaves that HDMI port open. And the camera's been splashed on several times, so I hope the HDMI is still working.
Just cover it up with black tape.
Yeah, you should get some gaffer tape from Amazon.
Yeah, I'll do that for sure because
sell black tape.
What's that?
I should actually sell black tape.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he has black tape with all that mustache and everything.
I always have a roll handy. It's,
Look at the big one.
Like $5 at Amazon for a big roll.
How long does that last you?
Forever.
The conversation's
I think probably
a long time.
At current rate of usage, I'd say 10 or 15 years from now. So.
Unless you're like me and you give black tape away every single time you shoot with other people. Oh, you need black tape for that. Here.
I just keep a bunch of long strips on my camera and then I pull it off to hold the viewfinder or go around the lens and then I reuse them a bunch. So.
That's a good idea, actually. I haven't thought about black tape before you guys started talking about it just now. Because the camera's been splashed a lot, so the wired remote has me a little little weary
Yeah.
sometimes. Um,
Photo is beautiful.
I've been trying to, because I've been using it for several months now, the A7R. For this one, I decided I want to really push a super long exposure to see how it would turn out. So this one was about 5 minutes during blue hour.
If you're shooting these long exposures on the A7R, can you watch them progress?
No, actually, the LCD shuts off.
Does it?
I don't know if there's a setting. There might be a setting though.
I thought that you
Watch
could
it.
do that, like the Olympus that came out a while
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
That
would be amazing.
You need to
did that.
investigate and report back to us, Mark.
Yes, I need.
That's like the holy grail, in my opinion.
Or
yeah.
I'll ask Colby about it because Colby's he knows the ins and outs of this thing.
Let's message Colby right now and get the
Yeah,
answer.
just invite him over. He's probably his
Can
John.
we just invite him onto the hangout?
Yeah, just invite him over.
Okay.
We have a question for you, Colby.
Let's see some more of Mark's photos.
Yeah.
All right, so that's blue hour, super long exposure. I've also been taking it out for star trails. This one, I used an app that they sell in I forgot what they call it, the Play Memory store.
Wow.
Oh yeah,
It sells apps for the camera.
Mhm.
So I used a time-lapse app to get about 90 shots at 30 seconds apiece
Wow.
for this one. There was about maybe a 3/4 moon behind me, so it made lighting up the foreground,
So
effortless.
great. It's so awesome.
So a quick question. You get the 90 shots and then you put in the software and they stack it all for you?
Yeah, I used that Star Stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what I do first for this, for star stacking, is I try to process one to the way I like it, and then in Lightroom I'll copy those developed settings over to all the other images, and then I'll export the JPEGs, and then export the JPEGs, and then I bring that all into Star Stacks,
Nice.
and then whatever I get from there, I just fine tune it in Lightroom. Using some mix software sometimes.
Very nice. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. This one is in Tokyo. It's a place called Nakameguro. You might have been there too, right, Juan? During your last trip?
I think we walked by, but I don't think it was that night. I was back in October or November.
Yeah, it's during cherry blossom season. It's by far one of my favorite places to visit in Tokyo because, I love how it looks during the day, but at night especially, those lanterns on the side will light up, and it'll have that nice warm glow on the water. For this one, I got there about a few days late, past full bloom. So I don't know if you guys can see it in this image, but there are a lot of petals coming off the tree and coming out of the water.
Beautiful.
So I tried to get some of the petals coming down.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then this one was actually with a couple of buddies of mine. One you guys know, Scott Jarvie, was out in Joshua Tree
Jarvie!
during his epic tour, and another Scott Sugawara, an LA photographer.
Jarvie is the guy that likes to shoot pictures nude, right? He shoots all his pictures when he's nude.
All in his Airstream.
Okay.
Weird. He doesn't lock the door sometimes, so that was an awkward moment.
Just wears a
Fellow
beat.
Airstream owner, but I don't share the nude thing. So Scott.
But this shot was also A7R, or the other. Every shot I've shared today is from the A7R. This one, it was all thanks to Jarvie actually. He's just a light master. He's the one that lit up the Joshua Tree from behind. He's the one that lit it up, who light painted the tree for me when my exposure was gone.
Nice.
So a lot of credit to him and the moon.
Credit to Scott Jarvie and the moon.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It really is.
Yeah, it turned out really well. It was my first real night shoot with the A7R, so I was pretty pleased with it.
Wow.
And I think that's all I have for now, yeah.
That is awesome, man. Beautiful
Fantastic.
picture. She always
Thank
posts
you.
some amazing stuff. So,
Yeah, really nice as always.
yep.
Beautiful
Thank
stuff.
you. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, man.
I'll save the new stuff for myself. I won't share that with anybody.
Yeah,
That's
just
okay. We'll
yeah,
you can whip it out in the after show.
yeah.
Okay.
Whip it out, like Lotus
Whipping
said.
it out is okay in the after show.
Yeah, it's all good. So you get ready, Andrea.
Okay.
And while we're on that topic, let's see what you got.
All right.
Your turn.
All right. Here we go. Let's see. I am not quite the landscape photographer that you guys are. I will show you. I got a shot. This is from last summer. Um, Actually, this one is from a tattoo convention that we just did. This is my husband is a tattoo artist,
Oh
and this
wow.
guy is his name is Eric, and he goes by Cholo. He's one of the like more famous body modification artists and stuff.
Yeah,
And that's a
great
picture of
on
him
here.
at the Hard Rock Hotel by a Mr. Brainwash mural that, if you could see in the back, it says "Life is beautiful."
Beautiful. What do his eyelids?
They say "scumbag." Isn't that sweet? And it's actually funny because he's basically the nicest guy you could ever meet. He's sober. He doesn't drink and stuff. He's like really, all that stuff's behind him. But so I love portraiture and lifestyle stuff like this because it's just so. I mean it was a real moment. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of a really
And it's
incredible
really
thing.
extreme. At the same time, this is someone's everyday.
Yeah, right. I
Yeah.
mean, for me, it was something like, oh wow, this is really cool, and it's like exactly, this is totally his life. Let's see, and the other one I have, this one is, we seeing that? This is from, there was a huge fire in Idlewild, a little town that's just above Palm Springs. There's a big, huge fire, and I went out and caught this photo at our windmills because the windmills is like one of the things people love to take pictures of out here. I probably had my camera for about 4 or 5 months, and I had never taken any photography classes or anything. And I went out and I was just like, this is incredible. And the large flare did come in post because the sun was so engulfed by like smoke you couldn't see it. But this is one of the more popular photos that I took recently, and that was kind of something that was a landscape thing that I did in Palm Springs. The other thing that I wanted to share, one sec, I'll just take a second, was I actually did try some cool star, like some long exposure stuff, where hang on one second here. Sorry about that. And I apologize for it being just on my Facebook page. I wasn't able to get this uploaded yet. But this is a place called, it's called East Jesus. And it's an artist community that's out in the middle of the desert in a place called Nyland, which is like out by Slab City, which is the last, what they call the last free place on Earth. Sorry about that. One sec. My computer's being pretty slow because I have my window open. I apologize.
Yeah.
What is that stuff on the table? It looks like like something Mark can use.
We're like eavesdropping on, eyeballing. Talking about how
paying
cute
close
that photo of
attention.
you is with your hair over your face. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just my screen seems to have frozen up on me. I'm having a little bit of an issue. I apologize.
That's all good.
Sorry. I tried to get the
Anyway,
other window open and have it all ready, and it was like, no. So I was like, okay, forget it.
My
But,
computer tells me that
yeah.
all the time. Is it loading?
Do, 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 do.
la 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 la.
I think we lost her. The computer froze.
I think actually she got scared when I told her that Mark was going to whip it out in the.
I know.
I
I think she did get scared.
would kind of accidentally be gone before then.
Lotus, do you think you want to just move
Well,
on to
I was
the?
going to say, why don't we move on to talking about the winners of our, what month is it now? Our June
Yes.
and Golden Hour Challenge.
Yes.
And if she's able to get back with us, we can see that last image before we leave. Otherwise, we'll just move on.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and screen share
Okay. Go for it.
the images, and we'll start with the third place winner and move towards first, and you can announce as I screen share.
Okay. Let me see if I can read the caption. I have my glasses on, so I should be able to. There you go. And this is third place. Oh man, I gotta kill his last name. Bob Desero.
Oh, you did it. That's good.
I did?
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
Organized Chaos from Rhode Island. This is a Drink and Click Rhode Island chapter. And the third place.
Looks like it was taken during Golden Hour, because so the challenge was Blue or Golden Hour.
Yes, and he won a Think Tank Pixel. Okay.
That sounds naughty.
It does. Think Tank has a bunch of naughty stuff.
All right, so second place.
Second place goes
Oh,
to
so pretty.
Oh, from Vancouver.
yeah, Graham Knight with where's Lotus? There it is. The captain, Vancouver, Canada, and he won a 1-year subscription of CT digital photography.
Sweet. All right, here's the big one.
In first place, oh man, Martin Schunack. There you go, from Stuttgart, Germany.
Stuttgart.
Yeah, Stuttgart. Yeah, Germany. And he won Black Rapids Trap.
Oh, those are great.
Yep.
Yep. So congratulations to the top 3 winners of the June challenge. And the challenge this month is post-processing. So make sure you submit your pictures.
Yep.
Get in there in time.
Images from Drink and Click Photo Walk. And our sponsors this month are Smug Mug, Cotton Carrier, and Stuck in Customs.
Oh, awesome. You have such a good memory, Lotus.
I just write stuff down, dude.
I know. I need to start doing the same thing. And I think we lost Andrea.
I think we did lose Andrea, so we're just going to wrap the show then. Wanted to mention that we will have a show again next month on August 13th with special guest Jordan Oram. And so we'll get to hear all about his wanderings and his book.
Oh yeah, he wanders and wonders.
And his beard.
So Athena, just to wrap it up, what does people need to do? What do they need to do to go to Africa with you?
Sign up for a workshop with me. Sign up for a tour. You can. So I'll keep everything up to date on my website, which is athenacarey.com. I'll do a pretty good job of staying up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Instagram. That's kind of it for me.
And AfricaWithAthena.com.
Yeah, so if you are interested in the Africa stuff, you should go to AfricaWithAthena.com and give me your email address in that Notify Me section, and you'll get all the information there. If you want to come on the photo walk, can we share links?
Yeah, we'll do a wrap-up post afterwards in the coming days, and we'll put some links in there to help people figure out where to go.
There is a photo walk community here in Google+. It's the Donegal photo walk. Lotus and Juan will share the link. And again, the link to Africa with Athena and the link for the tour page as well for Northern Ireland.
Awesome. I can't wait to see the pictures up there, and then maybe we'll find some sponsors to send us over there.
That'd be great. I'll take some too, please.
I know. And I want to remind everybody we're having an event tomorrow here in Austin, Texas, and we're going to have Olympus camera, and we're going to have Alien B, Paul C. Buff, and we're going to shoot. We have a model there, and we're going to have the event, and we're going to just teach people how to use the lighting and the modifiers and the Olympus cameras. We're going to have a rep there, and he's going to bring all the OMD cameras they have and show us how they work, and then shoot with it. So hopefully you join us tomorrow if you're here in Austin, Texas. And I want to thank everybody, all the panelists. Andrea, which is gone. She was afraid of the whip out. And Cameron, be careful driving that thing. And Mark, just get your drink going. Get the porn thing going on with the mustache.
Wise
happen.
words.
It'll happen one day.
It will happen. It will happen. And thank you to the two sisters. Look at that. That's just family love.
Aww.
I know. It
Very
is just
sweet
amazing.
moment.
So thank you, everybody, and just stay in touch. And thank you for watching.
Good
Thanks for
night.
having me.
All right. Good night.